Hey everyone, I thought I'd better start doing introductions to these podcasts so you know what's coming up. I go out to my local patch, Crossness, and I see seals, fish escaping from the seals, urban foxes, peregrine falcons, red kites. It's packed. I've got so much great footage to show you. Please check it out. Go to the vlog. When I play the podcast, I reference the vlog so you can see the footage. So for people who don't watch the videos and for people who don't listen to the podcast, there's something there for everybody. If everybody wants to listen to one or both or the same and catch up using the vlog for all the footage, great. I also include bird facts, fun facts. I also include vlogs that I've just made and put up, like custom settings, Canon's new 410 megapixel full frame sensor. What's it for? What's it about? Loads of interesting stuff to do with photography, birds. And I also talk about rare bird sightings in the UK from the last week, like lots of white-rumped sandpipers, stone curlews, etc., honey buzzards. I include lots of stuff to try and keep things interesting. So here comes the podcast, and go and check out the corresponding vlog. Enjoy this. Good afternoon, ladies and gents, and welcome to podcast number 4. Today I'm back at my local spot, Crossness, because I've booked in. This is Tuesday, what Tuesday is it? The 29th of July 2025. Just parked the cab up in Norman Road, if you're familiar with the area. Tripod up, ready to go. And we're going to Elmley on Thursday for the Friends Day. I've booked the ticket. I was going to go to Orr today because I wanted a change of scenery. But when I do a long drive, it really does take it out of you. And I didn't want to do a long drive today and then a long drive on Thursday. I end up taking the night off work usually. I make an excuse and don't go in. So the way we'll do it is I'll have the day off work on Thursday, coming home from Elmley exhausted. I'm just going through the gate here. I've just been concentrating my efforts at Crossness for the moment, because when I look at what's going on, I always check the bird guides and the Kent KOS webpage for sightings, X, Facebook. Nothing much is going on, so I don't want to drive an hour and a half to go and see, or even miss it, a bird that might or might not be there. There have been a lot of recent sightings which I'll list. There was a black-crowned night heron down in Dungeness. Now, I've seen several on different islands in the Med, so I don't need to run for things like that. And then when I went to Hong Kong I think it was May last year, that is, there's a whole tree full of them in the park there. So don't need to do that. And then I saw another tree almost full with those white egrets, little egrets, purple herons in Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur. So no rush for birds like that. I only really want to go running for birds I haven't seen yet. And there have been several sightings of white-rumped sandpipers. Now that would be a lifer, and they've been reported dotted around the UK. And one was reportedly spotted at Orr, along with a stone curlew, and stone curlews have been spotted recently as well. And I've seen stone curlews before, Fuerteventura. I've even seen one at Cliff Pools in the UK. Of course, all my great stuff of those is in Fuerteventura. So I'm not going to rush for that. The white-rumped sandpiper, that would give me a reason to go. And I thought, okay, well, look, I don't know what one looks like. I know it's going to look like either a dunlin or a sanderling. But I looked up the pictures and I thought that looks like it could be a sanderling. I might miss that. How would I identify it? And it's unfortunately one of those birds that, to get a good, clear ID, you need to see it flying. Like the whimbrel, is it the whimbrel? Yeah, the whimbrel. The Eurasian whimbrel, and then there's the Hudsonian whimbrel, which you get in America. And you see the Hudsonian because it's got a white rump. I believe that's the difference. I had a picture of one from Costa Rica, and it had to be a whimbrel, Hudsonian, because it's over there. But the white rump sandpiper, when it flies, I've checked flight shots of sanderling and dunlin, and they don't have any white rump, so it would be a clear standout if it flew. But there's no reports today, so I'm definitely not going for that. And there are, what else is going on? Yeah, quite a lot of honey buzzard action going on around the UK. Several spots, Sussex, Kent, bit further north as well. And I'd never seen one before. And then when I went to Menorca a couple of months ago, I got two. I got one on my first one on a boat trip. The quality was pretty bad, grey weather and a moving boat. And on the second to last day, I was on a beach on the, what end is that? The southeast end, where there are lots of Balearic shearwater out in the water between the island. There's a small island with a lighthouse and the main island, Menorca, and a really nice crisp one flew over my head in blue sky, and yeah, perfect. So I've seen my honey buzzard. I'm not going to go chasing them. And they must not be good pictures anyway from the UK, because every time I see people mention it, they've either not got a picture, it's a really grainy picture because the honey buzzard has flown half a mile above their head. I'm not going to make a fuss about that. They're a juvenile black stork. It was noted on bird guides, and I saw somebody post it on X as a juvenile black stork. Again, this is a new bird to me that I got in Lesvos. There were plenty there, so again, not going to run for that. Down in Penzance, Cornwall. Now, I imagine this is happening on the boat trips they do out there, or there might be birders stationed on the edges of the rocks, like lizard. Lizard's a place, lizard's like a rock, with some really powerful scopes, and they're doing some sea watches. And there are lots of Balearic shearwater, Wilson storm petrels, and American laughing gulls. I've seen those in the America. I think, yeah, I've seen Caribbean and Mexico. I've seen them over there. That's their main gull, or the equivalent of having the black-headed gull for us in the UK. What else? The Wilson storm petrel. I got one, I believe, myself when I went to Agadir. We were on a boat trip 2 years ago. And what's the other one? The Balearic shearwater. Obviously, I got those in Menorca. So all of those birds I've got. So I'm not running for anything there. I'm not burning through all the fuel to go down. And yeah, there's nothing worse than doing a long run, a twitch, and getting there and not finding it. That really puts you off when you do that. Up in Scotland's Outer Hebrides, they hosted a ring-billed gull, which is nearly annual in the UK, but still rare. Another American gull there. I do believe early on, I think it was 2020, when I was still trying to ID birds and get my head around some of the regular ones, I mistook, I think it was a common gull, a juvenile common gull, for a ring-billed gull. I said, well, that's a ring. And they said, no, it's not. You won't get that in the UK. It was in an area called Five Arches in Sidcup. I saw it. And there was no way it was going to be a ring-billed gull. I mean, you can get some crazy odd rarities once in a blue moon like that, but the chances of it being me, no, it wouldn't have been. So I haven't seen a ring-billed gull yet, I believe. Gull. I better stop. Yeah, remember to enunciate that word. So that the translation to text is correct. I've been watching, like I said, I've been watching some of my vlogs back, and the words have been the recent one where I said Shell Ness Beach, which is on the Isle of Sheppey, it translated as two words, shell and nest. I've really got to enunciate the edges of the words, in the middle of the words, the ends of the words. So as the breeze is quite low today, I'm mostly here for some stock footage. Low wind means I can video. And you travel out to Kent to see some raptors and some rare birds, and literally on my doorstep I have most stuff. And I love it when people post on the socials that they've seen a common sandpiper somewhere in Kent. At Cross Ness at the moment, we've had 8 counted. So I've got a vlog coming soon. I've done the video of it. I'm trying to collect enough video to put a little vlog together for Cross Ness locally. So, and I've got all the common sandpipers having little tussles over feeding spots. I've got that in slow-mo, so I've got that recorded. And other bits of footage I've got a lovely steady video of cormorants drying in the wind. Since I've had my tripod and I've been doing all this video, I've been going back to my old footage where I handheld it in my files, and it's embarrassing. I'm actually going to delete so much footage because I just can't stand it. Back then I thought it was pretty cool. It was good quality, but the shaking, it's such a difference when you've got a proper tripod. And I bet this will become more of an obsession the more I go along, where I'm going to get heavier and heavier tripods, and I don't care about the carrying because I know it's going to equate to steady footage, which is just amazing to watch. I've got loads of slow-mo footage of, not lots, but bits and pieces of the cormorants coming up with all sorts of eels and flatfish. That'll be going in the vlog. Off to my left, I'm just looking at the moment. I don't hear them right now, but there has been some reed warblers, a reed warbler family, and I've got a little bit of their call. This will be going in the next vlog. And I had to really manually use the manual focus, get some practice here, because their name suggests reed warblers, I'm sorry. They really do hide behind these reeds. Even though they were coming out and they knew I was there. Yeah, I'm listening. Usually I can hear the sort of little scraping noise they make. Bird activity is low at the moment. But if you come down here, you're very likely to see buzzards, kestrels and the peregrines. About 3 days ago, I believe, last time I was here, I was walking north up the reserve towards the recycling centre, and always keeping my head on a swivel, I saw a bird coming in from the left. And it was a strange shape because it had something underneath it at the back. And my brain took only a couple of seconds to realise that's going to be a peregrine and that's going to be carrying a bird. And I just flung my tripod onto the ground and got my slow-mo. I couldn't quite catch the bird. It was a bit distant anyway, but it wasn't until the peregrine was in front of the recycling plant, the grey building, that the green of the parakeet really confirmed it was a parakeet. So it's good that the peregrines, like the ones I had at my local area, Bexley Heath, are keeping the population of parakeets under control. I don't want to say it, but I kind of feel there has been a drop of them. So yeah, all the peregrine activity in the area. If you imagine, they probably could eat 2 of those a day, and they have some chicks. So I'm just trying to open the door here. What are you doing? Yeah, very annoying in a moment. I just say I got an email yesterday from the person that works for Thames Water and looks after everything here. Somebody had stolen her keys and got into the protected area. So now it's all padlocked up and can't go in there. And they went in there, they stole the keys, and they found out the code for the door. They went in there and tried to steal stuff, but I believe all the cameras picked them up and they were stopped. And now they've had to padlock it to figure out what they're going to do. Who are these idiots? Who are these people? There was a break-in several months ago where some people took, I think, motocross bikes in because there were tyre tracks inside the hide. And you just think, why? You know, I'm not going to do that. Why are people like this? But just why would you bother? Why would you make the fuss of going in the door? How did you find the code? Yeah, it's all very bizarre. But yeah, we have real trouble down here. I'm just walking up the path, and on the right there was a little pond, and there's a walkway that was kicked over. And I mean, you would have had to use some real force. That would have been some angry people to knock this wood down. I mean, it was sturdy. It was a sturdy walking platform with a railing, and yeah, you would have had to have really smashed against it, several people at one time, to break it. But yeah, it's got those kind of people in this area. I say those kind of people. Yeah, I'm going to say those kind of people. You're up on the path and these mopeds and scooters will go by looking proper shifty. It's up there. Nope. No noise. It's probably because it's the afternoon. It's a bit quiet. But it's good because it sounds like the construction noise is quite quiet. The building going up in front of me, the new Corey, I think it's a recycling plant, has attracted a couple of kestrels have been landing on it. And I got a bit of footage of a scruffy look, probably a juvenile, flying around. And a couple of days ago when I came back, there was a cormorant up on one of the metal girders. And it was there when I walked past it. I filmed it, and I walked past it and came back, and it was loving it. One of those cormorants with the white belly, so maybe a juvenile, not good with the plumages. I'm actually going to make a cormorant vlog at some point. I'm in the middle of I'm writing a script for it anyway about starlings. If you're unaware, if you don't follow my X account, I got my most liked and viewed tweet of all time. Now before that, it was a barn owl that I took down here at Crossness about 3 to 4 years ago. Now there's some bird action here. Can't put my finger on that. I know there are a lot of reed warblers here and whitethroat nesting in these bushes to the left or right of me on the path through the reserve. Yeah, nests on the right probably and feeding on the left. But my most liked photo was this barn owl that looked at me as it flew past me with its wings down. And that was on, loads of goldfinch just took off. Sorry guys, what's that, about 25, 30? Just disturbed those. and that was about 6.3 thousand likes for the last year or two. And I just thought, oh, you know what, I'll put what I do when I do my vlogs is I take bits of short clips of maybe 30 seconds to a minute of video, and I put them on my Twitter randomly, not knowing which one's going to do well and which one's not. And often it is surprising which ones take off and which ones don't. And sometimes it's just a plain bird. And I put up the starlings I shot at Harty Ferry on the Isle of Sheppey, just on wires. I had my tripod, so they're super steady, and they're all lined up with like social distancing. People have pointed out as a little joke, just chirping and chattering. And it started going up. I remember looking at it after about 45 minutes, and it was about 180, 200, and I thought, likes. Well, that's pretty fast. That's not nothing special, but that's okay. It's going up. And before I went to bed, it was at 1,000. I went, oh, okay, 1,000 views. That's pretty decent. That's relatively high for usual tweets. I woke up in the morning, checked it. It was at 5,000. And as that day progressed, it was up at sort of 14, 15. As of today, it's settled at 19,000 views. I've never seen, even some of the biggest animal wildlife accounts don't get those kind of numbers. That was a real shock, a real surprise so I mean, I think video is definitely where it's at. You can't, photos are good, but I've always thought you really need to see video. You need to see birds moving, chattering, eating, flying, their behavior. A photo's all well and good, but you do need the progression. We've got all these great 4K cameras, all this audio software to clear the background noise, which I'm going to be doing another vlog about, because I'm going to start to remove the sort of hiss and the white noise of background, so you can just hear the birdsong. It's pretty impressive. I've been playing around with it, trying to find the sort of sweet spot, because if you take away too much background noise, the actual bird chirping does start to sound like it's in a tin can. So there's a sweet spot between removing the right amount of noise and retaining the bird chirp noise. And some other recent vlogs that I've done are based on camera settings, things like custom shooting modes, the recent Canon soft firmware update for mirrorless cameras. And I'll give you a brief overview of most stuff. You can skip through this if you want to, but I've made them. Some of them have done really well. The one I did on shutter modes is one of my best performing videos. It's at about 11.6 or 7,000 views on YouTube. And then my Canon firmware 1.7.1 that was ahead of it at first, but that backed off down to 7,000, which is still, that's a high amount. So I've had like 18,000, 19,000 views crossed over 2 videos. And then I did one on the new 410 megapixel Canon sensor. So I'll just say the shutter modes. I won't go into the detail I did of the vlogs, but to give you a brief overview, and you can go and look at the vlogs. So the shutter modes that I've been using, what's called electronic first curtain and electronic. And I saw that the camera had mechanical, and I wondered, why did they even include that? So I looked into it, and there was enough there for a vlog. And there are each mode, electronic first curtain, and mechanical, all have their advantages and disadvantages. Quick run through the electronic, you can get more shots off faster. There's no mechanical movement, there's no vibration because there's no moving shutter. So if you're using a very low shutter speed and very low light, you use that because the camera won't vibrate when the shutter goes. Electronic first curtain is a halfway point between the two. You get off half as many shots, but it avoids something called rolling shutter, which I'll be doing another vlog about. If you're not aware of what rolling shutter is, when you use the electronic mode and you fire off lots of shots, the way the camera takes the picture, it does it line by line, super fast, but still line by line, and it causes skewed images if you're suddenly panning really quickly or there's a bird flapping really quickly. So there's balancing act between which one is the bird moving too fast, too slow, should I go for electronic first curtain, electronic, etc. So it comes down to experience. There's no way I'm going to explain it in this podcast. And then the mechanical apparently is the best for using with flashes. You get the best flash sync speed. There's no distortion when you pan, and it produces better bokeh. So that's as much as I'll say with that. But each shutter mode does have its uses, advantages and disadvantages. The Canon firmware, it has different things for different cameras. Now, what is firmware? If you're not aware of firmware, then I'll give you a quick filling in. It's software for the camera that you download, and it upgrades features. So as long as it's not a mechanical or physical feature of the camera, like the shutter, something like that, it's just software. It might be able to say, for instance, your camera's only been able to take 10 frames per second because of the software only works so fast, but then they could send software to your camera, change some code, and it could suddenly take 15 or 20, that sort of thing. So they send this software to get rid of bugs, to improve things, etc. And the most recent one has been for security. And you put a password in and stop people hacking into your account. And in this day and age of AI and all that, there's all this new software coming in so that you can prove the photo comes from you. A photo, if it's thought to be fake, AI can be tracked down and attributed to the correct photographer and worked out that it's actually a real photo and it was taken really at that location, because you can put all the GPS in and all that. So Canon firmware, I did a vlog about that if you're interested. It tells you. And I also always say with firmware is you never update it immediately. Like when I get iPhone, the next iOS, I never update it immediately, because sometimes there's a glitch and they have to recall it or do something, and it can take a week or two. So let the guinea pigs do it first. Look online to see they've fixed it and everything's well, and then do it. Don't do it on your camera, especially before a big shoot or a big holiday, because there is a possibility, a small one, that you could brick your camera or your device, meaning the software update was so bad, it's rendered your camera as a brick. That's all it's good for. It's just a big hunk of metal. So don't do it straight away. Let other people who have got the time and the patience do it. And then the 410 megapixel sensor is just a marketing thing for Canon. It's not going in cameras. What they've produced is this full frame sensor where you would get in normal cameras, mirrorless, and they've squeezed 410 megapixels, which is 410 million pixels. Now, what does that mean? You might say, well, I don't know, is that good or bad? Well, put it this way, 410 million pixels. In my camera, I've got let me get that right. In my camera, I've got 32 million. So 32 million up to 410. And you might say, okay, well, that 410, that sounds good. Is that a good thing? Well, it would require so much energy and so much processing. It would produce gigantic files, so that they don't do it. And squeezing all those megapixels onto a sensor will cause a lot of noise, because the thing that causes noise is pixels being pushed closer and closer together. So it's going to be used for scientific stuff, looking at intricate detail of circuit boards, space stuff, scanning in artistic documents and cultural tapestries, etc., in really, really high detail. So they'll be well lit to produce the least amount of noise. Now, I think that's as much as I'll say on that. But interesting, that's another vlog I've done. And finally, I mean, this kind of applies to everybody. I was watching television. Simon Calder, the travel guy, travel writer, was talking about your phone connecting to another country's network when it's not even in that country. And this happened to me when I was he mentioned specifically Turkey and Greece, which happened to me. I was on the island of Lesvos. I got off the plane, I turned my phone on, and the phone connected to a Turkish network. Now, is that a big deal because I'm in a foreign country anyway? Well, for Turkey, yes, it does, because Greece is part of the EU and I've got free EU roaming as per my contract. Turkey isn't in the EU. Therefore, I'm getting charged the worldwide price for a day, which is, I think, on Vodafone, £7.86. And Simon Calder breezed past this and just said you have to change one setting or something, and he wasn't very clear about it. So I looked online, and you have to leave one thing on and one thing off. So I looked into it and I figured it out. So you have to leave data roaming on, because the phone still has to search for foreign networks. But what you turn off is the network selection, automatic network selection. It's default set to automatic. So go in there and turn it off. And then it takes about 20 to 30 seconds for a list of local networks to populate. And then you pick, if you're in Greece, you pick a Greek one or wherever you are. And you might think to yourself, well, I don't need to worry about this because I'm in the UK. But when I've been on the coast of England, Sussex, or Kent, it's connected to France. Now I've got free EU roaming, but this has happened in the past when I didn't have free EU roaming. I might have just paid my bill and not thought about it because I thought, well, I've not been anywhere, so I didn't really check my bill in full. So that's a nice little vlog to watch and a nice setting to have when you go abroad. So yeah, I recommend that one because that, if you travel, that applies to anybody. Oh, this is amazing. I've just got to the riverfront and the reeds over the other side of the wall, where I have got really good video of reed warblers before. They're showing pretty well. I've got a couple of seconds here and there. I'm just waiting for some to jump out, but there's a big surprise. I thought they may have been gone. Was a sedge warbler. It came across from my right and landed at the top of one of the reeds. And immediately I just thought, I knew something was different. It looked lighter. And I thought, is that a sedge? And I got my camera on it and I'm filling the frame. That's not overblowing it. That's not over exaggerating. When you see the video, the vlog, it sat there for what felt like a minute. It's definitely a minute. And I got full frame body first, then I tried to get in as close as I could with the 4K crop. So literally the whole thing and cutting off a bit of tail. So I'm just going to stand here and film them for a little bit. They're not showing themselves. I can see what I'm doing is I'm seeing the reed at the top shifting as it's moving around below. So I'm just waiting for one to come up. Maybe the sedge warbler will only give me a good show. But one will drop his guard, I'm sure of it. I've got a couple of seconds to use already. But I'd like they're moving around collecting insects, so they're not sitting still for very long. Why the sedge warbler did that, I don't know. But it had a reed right in front of its face. It was gripped onto a vertical reed. So what I had to do is let the camera get the little target on the eye, and as soon as it got a lock, I pressed this button I've got set up to disable autofocus. So it would stay in that plane of focus and not move around. Even though if the bird moved around, it would stay focused on just that plane. So that's a compromise. Obviously, if it blows in the wind, the eye will be very slightly out of focus occasionally, but it's better than the camera hunting around. Better just keep the focus in the one plane. Yeah, these reeds are staying low. I've had them come on right out a year or two ago. Well, it was last year, yeah, because I only really started filming properly last year. So all the footage I have is from last year. Yeah, the tide is just coming in. So we'll get a good view of any bird, particularly the common sandpipers. I've been told there's about 8 or 10 now. Another birder just came by and had a chat with him, and he said the autumn migration is already starting. What's that bird? Oh, that looks like a sedge. And he said on a private London group, windchat has been spotted. So I've asked how to get on that, and he said a name, and I'm like, okay, well, I can't. Maybe if I'm good, he'll speak to the guy and put me on. But it wasn't enough. Reed warbler did come up for about 1 second. Yeah, we'll give it 5 more minutes because I've got to catch the. Actually, I better go to the outflow because it comes in pretty quick at the outflow, and the birds that feed on either end of the mud, either side of the mud, will fly away pretty soon. These reed warblers will be here and the sedge warblers will be here when I get back. At the moment, I can see black-headed gulls, mallards, possibly teal or gadwall. There's still the juvenile common shell ducks hanging around with their parents. You can hear goldfinch and that plane for the city airport. Little egret just landed. Now all these, they do look tasty. The blackberries, the raspberries on the tree. But I'm not eating fruit that's been grown in Thames water, I'm afraid. I know it's getting clean. It's getting much cleaner. We've got seals and all sorts of great fish in there, but I'm not going to be that guinea pig. No sounds to the left. Yeah, the reserve was very quiet apart from goldfinch. But the water is always the river on the right can be packed. Nothing unusual today. I'm on a local WhatsApp group for it, and nothing unusual. One black-tailed godwit. I expected more. There's a couple of Egyptian geese. Pardon me, Canada geese. Black-headed. Apparently there are a few yellow-legged gulls here, so I'll keep my eye for those. Usually more European birds. When you go to the Med, you don't generally get herrings. Very occasionally lesser blackback and greater blackback. Some starlings there. Yeah, any starlings I get, I'm going to film. Because I'm making a little vlog, so I need lots of stock footage to do that. B-roll footage and calls because we've got decent-ish numbers down here. Right, yeah, the water at the outflow is full of black-headed gulls as usual, and mallards. Got a couple of coots and moorhen out there. The other day, I had brief glimpses of a juvenile chetties. That will go in the vlog just to show I've got it. And there was, will I include? No, I don't think I got enough. I think I deleted it. It was some really bad footage of a chiffchaff. It was calling, but it wouldn't come out. The pollution smell isn't too bad today. Right, we've got two, what do we got over there? That's pretty big. Those little egret look big, but they're just little egret. I've photographed a flock of about 7 or 8 coming in, and that's like a record for Crossness about a year or two ago. They looked like they were coming to the reserve, and then they were coming in from the northwest, and they got almost to the seawall, and then they banked left and headed for what looked like Rainham. So they obviously don't like Crossness for some particular reason. No cormorants feeding, which is unusual, so they've either had their feed or there's no fish down there at the moment. No, 2 little egrets, cormorant. I'm running my bins around the edges of the waterline. Cape shelduck and ruddy shelduck have pretty much disappeared. I've not heard anything about those for a while. Yeah, the water's too far in now. It's come right in, and all the mud on either side of the... I really needed to get... Oh, I've seen a common sandpiper, yeah, there's one. It's just, it lands immediately and starts flicking its tail. One, along with a moorhen. I'm just scanning the mud line. Apparently there are more by the engines, which is further west from here. I'm just going into the corner here by the grill, the railings, to see if any of those juvenile chetties are about. On this wall down here, sometimes there's a grey wagtail. Nope. Oh, that I can hear. Do you hear that? That's a... Sorry, I'm talking over that. That was a wagtail of some type. It could be a pied. And any yellow-legged gulls? Not as yet. Grey heron. Right. Oh, yeah, another... What is that? No, that is a grey wagtail down on the left side of the outflow. I can just see it through 2 sets of railings with some starlings. Right, see, you don't have to go far. You've got loads of action here. So we'll walk down to the engines. There won't be much to talk about on the way there, just the high wall, which is about 8 feet. Okay, nothing happening, just check for seals. Nope, okay. I'm just at the bridge from the main sewage treatment works, looking to the right of it. And there are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, probably about 18 to 20 lapwings, might even be 25, a couple in the grass. I've just taken bits of steady footage of them pulling worms out, moving around. And it's almost like they're playing, what's the game called, the kids game, the statues, where you play the music and as soon as it stops, everybody stands still like a statue and whoever moves is out. And they kind of, they're not doing it all at unison. A couple of times I've almost caught them all doing it at the same time, but they kind of walk a bit, stop, and then they freeze. I didn't actually get into Squid Games. After the first 2 episodes, I don't know. I've tried watching a few Korean things, like that one that won the Oscar. What was it called? Parasite, wasn't it? Yeah. I don't know what the fuss is. It just doesn't work for me. But anyway, that's what was going on in Squid Games, you know, where they had to hold still or else the statue would shoot them. And it looks like that. But that's what I do when I'm bird watching. What I do is I walk and stop and let my eyes defocus so that any movement around me gets picked up. Because if you're walking, everything else is moving at the same time. So you won't be able to see any movement. And they will be looking out for raptors. I'm sure some harrier or hawk will go after those, given the right circumstances. I've just taken little bits of footage. I've tried to get them as a clump. And they all look juvenile. None of them have got any impressive streaks coming out there, you know, the tufty bit coming out the top. Yeah, they are all juvenile. They all look very young, not very developed. Some maybe a few days ahead of the others. So they've flown here or they've nested nearby, I don't know. But I've got a little bit of footage of that. And we'll move on down. The river, it's strange how the river isn't anywhere near in further west. But at the outflow, it's really far in. It's right up to the wall. But then there is that trench that goes into the outflow. There are loads of pied wagtails going over into the sewage works. And linnets. I've just filmed some linnets. I'm looking now through my bins. I just saw some movement on top of one of the buildings. And I imagine it's pied wagtails picking off flies. I've just seen a big group of Canada geese going through. I'd love to get in there and do some bird watching. There must be some great sights, because when you're in the reserve and look over, I mean, I'm looking now and I can see those are going to be probably sand martin. Yeah, there's dozens of sand martin going over. I saw a load of Canada geese walking through. Just through my bins. Oh, they're actually all hunched down, sleeping on the path, on the gravel road inside the sewage works. Yeah, the birds around the edges of that sewage works. I'm looking in there now. There must be some stuff in there we never get to see. I wonder if the person that runs Crossness can ever give us any kind of permit to have a look in there. What a shame. Smell isn't too bad today. No, there are starlings going around. So at some point when they settle, they generally hang around. If I get them to land for some film, some stock footage, it'll be up the other end, past the recycling plant from here, east of here. There's a pier there where they like to roost and land above it. So I'll get some nice steady tripod film of that. We've got some more geese here on the river on the other side of this bridge. I'm just walking past the bridge, the pier. No pied wagtail on the buildings. Yeah, I think those are Canada geese. Nothing on the sea wall, okay. I can't remember where I read it, but somebody put up a picture of 4 what looked like female mallards walking in a line. And I've often seen what I thought were female mallards as well, walking in lines or in a group together. I'm wondering why. And I didn't know this. Apparently this is also true with things like teal. I always wondered why there were female teal about in certain times of year, but not at other times. And it's actually the males molt and resemble the females. The same with mallards. So that kind of purpley green, the males get gone and they look like females for a period. I've got so much to learn about birds. It's great stuff, but a lot of this vlog stuff and podcast stuff makes me look into it, because in the early days of vlogging and podcasting, I used to just say, oh, I wonder what that is. I don't know. Well, what's the whole point of this? If you're not going to provide information, don't just talk and say you don't know stuff. So I'm making sure I read up about things. And that's an interesting little fact. But I'm assuming that's the same with all waterfowl, all the ducks and everything from... I'm sure it wouldn't be with pintails and shovelers. Maybe they are, I don't know. What I'll do is, next podcast, I'll look into all the waterfowl, and that'll be my next fact I bring you. Well, folks, I just had a quick look and I'm back. That's the power of the world we live in. So let's read this out to you. Mallards, the bright green-headed male molts into mottled brown plumage, looking quite like the female. The key difference, males retain a yellowish bill. Females have orange-brown with dark markings. Okay, so next time I'm out, I'm going to look for the group of 4 or 6 or whatever mallards, and I'm going to see if there's a bill difference. Gadwall, males become drabber in eclipse. So I've heard this before, eclipse, and I'm like, what's eclipse? And it's when you molt into a non-breeding plumage. Though they already resemble females more than other species, that is true. They become harder to distinguish without close inspection. Teal, the male Eurasian teal, lose their bright green and chestnut head, becoming brownish and very similar to females. Still slightly brighter overall, but subtle. A shoveler. Wow, I didn't know these had it too. Males lose their striking green head and chestnut sides, resembling females with mottled brown plumage. Well, I'll be. Their large spatulate bill still helps identify them. Okay, so they'll have I presume they'll have a black bill then, won't they? And the females have the more browny bill. And pintail, I didn't know this either. Males molt into brown streaky plumage, quite like females, though they remain slightly sleeker with longer tails. So the longer tail will be the giveaway. And why this happens, the eclipse plumage offers camouflage while ducks are flightless during the molt. Oh yeah, I did read this as well. So in molt, and they all stick together, is because they're trying to avoid predation because they can't fly. Wow, that's super interesting. Wow, you learn something new every day. Now I can amaze people with amazing anecdotes about waterfowl. I'm going to be the life of the party. Only males go through eclipse plumage. This distinctly, females keep similar plumage year round. Brilliant. Okay, that's great. A little bit of info to put under my belt. You can learn eclipse, they become flightless, and most of the waterfowl do it. I wonder if widgeon do it as well. I just got to the furthermost point of just by the golf course, and yeah, tide's quite in, but there's a single oyster catcher over there. I've got a bit of a 4K crop mode on that, give us some steady footage, and probably 3 or 4 common sandpiper on this bank. I'm trying to position the camera to get more than one in the frame. Yeah, often the common sandpipers here has always been just one at a time, and if you do see another one, is that the same one? But this is definitely the most I've ever seen. Okay, we've got 2 at the moment. We just leave it recording for a second, just in case they get really close. Record away. Okay, you're pretty close in the frame here. Bit of wind annoying me, and you just got to wait for the wind to drop, and then I'll just use that clip of the no wind. Okay, there's wind's gone. Right, do your thing, film. That's it, good. I'm zoomed as far in as I can with my 4K crop. Yeah, I don't know what I did without this before I've discovered how to work this. I always saw the 4K crop, and when it was, I assumed it was digitally cropping in on whatever video it was, so you were getting getting fewer pixels, and then it was maybe enlarging it electronically or digitally. I just thought, no way I'm using that. And then I looked into it. I said, no, you are getting the full 32.5, sorry, the 4K resolution, all optical. So have I told you before about this? I probably won't. I think I've explained it plenty before. There's a couple of my videos where I talk about it and how it works. Right, I've got a little bit of video of that. And I'm just going to walk up to the golf course, the old golf course that is. It's like when I say golf course, I think it's one of those old driving ranges where you stand on a platform and you just fire the balls out. Bigger in America. And it's shut down, it's all graffiti, the grass grows. But occasionally something can be up here on the fences. It's been good before for my raw image burst photos, because goldcrest finch, goldfinch that is, robins and goldfinch, linnets and sparrows will land on it and take off, giving me a good perpendicular catch. And oyster catcher there, 2 oyster catchers, and shovelers black-headed. I think that sound is the train, the little train that goes into the Crossness engines, which you can ride. I haven't done it yet. This is awesome. So I'm just at the golf course. I was wondering whether I was going to walk any further down east towards Thamesmead, and looked up, and my brain immediately recognized it, even in silhouette, a red kite. And I was like, panic, right, what do I do? So I flicked it onto slow-mo, but the light's really weird at the moment. It's really overcast, but it's still very bright. So my footage was overexposed. So I had to quickly muck around trying to get it down. And by that time it had flown off. I mean, I'd got it filmed, but from the side it was so the highlights were blown out. So my brain has gone to mush with the excitement. I'm still looking at it. It's circling above me to the left here, over the sewage works. And so I filmed it, and I thought, that's it, I've lost it. It's going inland, and I've just got the back of it. So I flicked it onto 4K crop mode, which gets me another 800, 900 millimeters. And it turned and went round and round in circles. And it's still distant, but it's much more in the frame, it's filling more of the frame. And my camera, I really handled it well. I used to, up until recently, I'd leave it on this mode called enhanced. I actually didn't know what that meant. I just thought, well, enhanced sounds better than standard. So I left it on enhanced. And what enhanced does is it compensates more, which makes footage very jerky. And I've learned to turn that off now, and it's much, much, much smoother. So I filmed it in the standard image stabilizer mode, and I've got, this footage is going to look really, really nice. That's just made the whole of today. I can't believe that. I'm so excited. And right now it's hovering high up. I better put the word out in the WhatsApp group. Nobody's going to be able to photograph it anyway. It's a mile away. It's a little dot. But where is it now? It's probably sort of over the dual carriageway, over the southern marsh. And Yeah, that's just brilliant. It was a nice kind of brownish one, not very red. Maybe it's just the lighting that made it look very brown and bronze. But when I slow that down to 50%, and because I film in 60 frames per second, because it can look quite erratic otherwise, as I mentioned before. Filming anything moving, your hand motion makes the footage jerky. So by slowing it down 50%, it removes a lot of the jerkiness. Right, where are you now? You're still, oh, that looks like a hirundine or a swift up there. Right, okay, oh yeah, no, lots of hirundines and swifts. That's brilliant, that's made my day. So we're going to spend a few hours out today getting footage, and then I can be home and relax before work. Whereas if I was in Kent somewhere, I'd have all this footage and all this stuff to upload to my computer. I'd be all sweaty, and then I have to go to work and I talk myself out of it. I just got my camera trained through the view screen on a black-tailed godwit in lovely summer plumage. I've got it through one of the holes. It's a very small gap, but it's standing still long enough that I can film. And don't worry about the talking, because planes keep going by, so I'm going to have to overlay footage. And one thing I've got to start doing is I've got to start getting some stock audio footage instead of relying on what I pick up from this camera. Because one little click, sneeze, crack, something else, gust of wind ruins it. So the idea needs to be that whenever I go somewhere and there's no wind and it's really silent, I just leave. I actually record it from my phone, because what happens on the phone is it doesn't pick up as much audio. The background noise, white noise. It's a much cleaner audio. This is really nice, yeah, this one single black-tailed godwit. I mean, you might think this is a big deal, but there can be dozens or even hundreds here at the right time. Yeah, in the frame, I'm just looking in it now. It's feeding in the mud for worms. What's interesting, it doesn't pull up anywhere near the number of worms that an oyster catcher does. It seems to be pulling up smaller. Yeah, I've just watched it pick up something else and it looked much tinier, like it was a fly or something. Whereas when I filmed the oyster catchers earlier, they were pulling up really, really long worms. And these black-tailed godwits have got much longer beaks, so they should be getting much deeper. Or maybe worms just aren't their thing. Maybe they pull up some other little crustacean-y things that we're not privy to. It's good, it's standing still and just looking around. Good. I think I've got quite a nice little bit of footage of that. I just moved my camera along a bit more. You know what? I'm going to film. What I do sometimes is just to overlay onto the vlog. I'll film to show you the angle I'm filming at. Because I think if I move from let me just get this recording. There we go. I don't need to worry about the audio. I can record over it. If I move my camera to the side of the screen, so you're going to see this in the vlog. I'm filming what I'm filming through. That black-tailed godwit might fly away because I've just walked around here and all the shell ducks saw me and bolted into the river. So yeah, just pick up a little B-roll footage. Yeah, I do the same for the cormorant that was on the girder. Because if I just film it, you'll go, oh, yeah, well, it's a cormorant, what's the big deal? But if I show you exactly where it is, it's like, oh, wow, what's it doing there? It adds another element to it. So that's filmed. Where's the bird gone? I think I've got enough. I've got probably 20, 30 seconds. I'm not going to show any more than that, I don't think. That's enough stock footage. And there's, what's going on? I can hear some. Yeah, I've got to keep my eye behind me, my ears behind me, because that red kite could float by again. Hang on, what's that? Can you hear that? What's that? Something, I'm just going to check. It's flown to the river. That's one black-tailed godwit. And the noise has stopped. Yeah, single summer plumage black-tailed godwit. Interesting. I've been scanning the water as well, the Thames, to see if anything's going up and down. Okay, that's still making a noise. What is it? Oh, it's over there. Let's have I don't know what it is. I'm just going to use the view screen. Something is making a chirping. No, I can't see anything. No, just filming something for an upcoming vlog on raw image burst. Now, let's give you a sort of little bit of info on that. What it is, you can set your camera up, at least on Canon, to do like a pre-capture, raw image burst pre-capture. And what you do is it takes, when you press the shut button down halfway, it takes pictures and saves them for the last half a second. And in electronic shutter mode, that's 15 frames you're saving. And what you do is you point it at the bird or anything about to take off really quickly, and you wait and you wait, and it takes off. It might take you a quarter of a second to remember to press it all the way down, but in that time, you'll still save between 5 and 7 shots. And what it does, it keeps taking pictures and dumping, keep taking pictures and dumping until you do press that shutter button. So you're not wasting all those shots, filling up your memory card. Don't worry about that. So it's like going back in time, and I'm making a video on how to use it, all the pitfalls. What I needed to do though, was I needed to film my screen, because if I'm explaining it to you, one day maybe, somebody will send me the gadget. It's several £100. It's a screen you can plug into your camera, and you can record everything your camera sees, all the little information. Because you're saying, well, of course it's a camera, it's filming what it sees anyway. No, I'm talking about all the little numbers like the shutter speed, the white balance, all those numbers that when you press info, they pop up. So that when I explain the video and how this is working, you can follow it on the screen. So the only way around that was I had to put my phone on a tripod, point it at the screen, and obviously there's a lot of sunlight. It's going to cause a lot of reflection on the screen. So I had to use my jacket and cover me, the camera, and my phone underneath, pointing the camera at my phone at the camera, pointing the camera at the bird. In this case, it was a black-headed gull, and waited for it to fly. And it worked. It's a little bit shaky. Maybe I'll be able to cut frames out to remove some of the shakiness, but I got my point across. This is not BBC quality at the moment. I'm looking at it sometimes and thinking, oh, this is not good enough quality. Well, I'm a small YouTube channel. I'm trying to grow. Over time, I'll get the equipment and everything. But right now, if you can't make your YouTube grow with what you've got, buying new fancy drones and cameras and setup isn't going to do it. I've seen channels with nothing but a mobile phone getting millions of views. So it's got nothing to do with buying all the fancy equipment. It's the content you bring. And if it's not like the highest of quality, I've seen stuff filmed on phones just in HD, handheld, not on selfie sticks, just pointing and walking, and it gets millions of views. It's just the content. If you're getting across to some viewers, then you're getting across some viewers, and nobody's going to tell you otherwise. So that's what I'm doing at the moment, and it's just that hopefully that if the more videos I put out, companies will see it and go, we'll send you something. I'm in talks with the tripod company at the moment. I say I'm in talks with, I'm communicating via email. They saw my video for the tripod, and they want to either send me a tripod with a head, or this new 3-way head, which is worth like $180. And it means I've got to say something, I've got to make a video. I'm asking them what exactly they want, because obviously I don't want companies taking over what I do. As long as it's a small segment or it's just me talking about the product, fine. But if they want to film their own video and then put it on my channel, I'm going to have to probably refuse. I can't have anything like that. It's just got to be what I think about it, my reviews. I don't want it to be any takeovers, because it won't be genuine otherwise. But I do fancy that 3-way tripod head, because if you're not used to tripods, the up and down and the left and right is good, but it's the tilt to the left and tilt to the right that's a complete plane. If you don't get it exactly horizontal, the footage looks awful and really unprofessional. And if I could just adjust it with a dial, very, very small increments, it would make a massive difference. Because that is what that can take a minute sometimes to get right and get the camera horizontal. And then the bird is long gone. That's very exciting. I get companies send me stuff. Like I said, I've already been sent a trail cam. I got sent a dot sight, and all of these things have been incredible. Like, I didn't get them and then think, yeah, put them in the corner, I'll never use those again. The dot sight in particular is like, I never knew it existed up until several months ago, and now it's my favorite accessory. Getting me fast moving birds that I never thought I could get. Okay, just moving back to the outflow. It's not going to be very exciting now. All the birds will have, the tide is in, and all the birds will have gone off to different roosts and that to wade it out. And I'm on the other side of this pier, and there's still a section of mud that's not covered by water yet. But these guys are all probably going to fly up when they see me with a big tripod walk by. Apologies, everybody. No, nothing yet. They're not all scared yet. They're swimming away, but they're not panicking. Okay, but I'm going to walk along the river and see if I can find some starlings for my starling video. I need some stock footage, and that was a pied wagtail. Oh, there's 2 of them now on the path. So I might, yeah, why not? I'll try that. Oh, there's several on the pier. There's probably 4 or 5. I'll see what footage I get. They might get something interesting. Why not? Some stock stuff. Because it's even birds that I didn't bother filming before. I'm making an effort now because it just looks so nice with the the tripod. I'm going to be probably scrapping a lot of footage of my old footage because I'm never going to use it. There's no way I'm going to use it. Right, okay. I've just seen a load of lapwing. Right, okay. This is good. I've just seen a lot of lapwing fly west, and they've gone and perched on the ledge on the other side of the sea wall. Now, if I can get a good angle, sneak up on them, I can film over this side of the wall, and they'll all be compressed, and the perspective will be compressed. Can I see them? No, not there. All the pied wagtails now are coming up to the top of the buildings, hunting flies now that the water's in. So when you pass this pier on the right, it's raised, so you can look over the seawall. Right, I can see the lapwing now. I'm going to have to approach with stealth. So mic off for a second while I peer over. Now, I've just peered over the seawall, and there's only a couple of the lapwing landed on it. There's a common sandpiper on there, and much further down I can see 2 redshank. They've been evading me. They've not been on the mud. So I've had no footage of those, but don't worry about that because there are times at here at Crossness when you just get loads of those. And there's nothing up there. In the winter, sometimes you can have hundreds of waders on that wall. It's a spectacular sight. All of the redshank and the lapwing and the black-tailed godwit, just this mishmash of waders. It's almost back of the outflow now. I've been told by the other birder, that there is a juvenile Mediterranean gull at the outflow. So be in the water, and there's probably 100, 200 black-headed. So this is going to be fun, trying to see if I can spot it. Yeah, most people won't be able to do it as beginners, but I think I know enough now to go, oh yeah, I can see that now. But as I came along here, there were lots of the pied wagtails in different plumages, different ages, and I can get my tripod up pretty quickly now. I can get the tripod the camera onto the tripod in about 5 seconds and tighten everything down. And it's just, it's really addictive to get that lovely still footage. Even just plain birds, it's magnificent. And every new bit of footage I get, I'm going to delete some old stuff that's handheld and awful. But there are a lot of linnets as well. I'll try and get some. I've got some footage of those to go into the vlog. Perched on a wire. One that juvenile landed 2-3 days ago on a wire, and I was able to set the tripod up. It must have sat there for 3 minutes. I tried full frame. I tried zoomed in a bit, cropping off a bit of the tail. Keep my eye out for the red kite. The other birder didn't see the red kite. I did ask him if he saw it, but it was so high up by the time he got to the southern marsh bit over the other side of the road. Okay, let's see if we can see Medgull. Yeah, a nice addition to today. He said he's seen no other raptors, and neither have I. And you should be able to see peregrines, and you should be able to see at least kestrels. Okay, right. Okay, what we got here? We maybe got, I don't know, rough, quick 150 maybe. Let's see. What's that? No, the beak's not right. It's got a very black head, right? Okay, I tell you what. I'm gonna get back to you in a second. Any luck with the Mediterranean gull? Definitely not. It could be one of the ones really far out. There's a big group of the black-headed ones right in front of me, but if it's an individual gull, it might just not like being in the pack, and it's often on the edges. I can't be bothered scanning those. But I had a bit of fun. I had really some interesting catches. Let's start basic. I got some brief slow-mo of a common sandpiper. They've been flitting around all day. So I've just been sticking with slow-mo, and I'll be able to get a usable few seconds of that. And then the black-tailed godwit came in, flew right past my face. Fantastic. Thank you, sir. Nice. I mean, my camera struggled for a second to get on it, but it's usable footage. And another little surprise that is, So things are landing on me here, and I think it's just a bit of plant. Yeah, it's a bit of plant. What are we talking? A common tern came in and did some fishing, and I managed to get quite a lot of slow-mo footage. I mean, it was like, when I was filming it, it might seem brief, like 3 seconds here, 4 seconds there, but that goes up 4 times the length once you get it down to slow-mo. So we're getting all these different bits of slow-mo, going to be looking really good in the vlog. I'll have to find some audio from elsewhere to overlay. And then the weird thing was the outflow, the tide is up, it's at its max, and at the outflow there's water coming out from the sewage treatment plant, which is treated. So it's all fresh, nothing's ever dead here. Oops, come on sandpiper, am I on slow-mo? So just getting ready. Right, so just back with you. Common sandpiper just flew and gave me some amazing, well, I say amazing, I don't know until I get it on my PC, but I know it's better than the last lot. My camera held the focus on it pretty well. So that adds to the footage. It just landed by the outflow, and I've gone to see if it's sitting on the wall. That happens a lot. Oh, it's gone off flying on there. Okay, fine, it's gone off that way, it's gone off west. Let's get back. The outflow is clean. It's got this kind of barrel shape. I don't know what it's for, because when the tide is up, they must time it so it releases when the water level is above this barrel. It's a concrete barrel shaped, half barrel shaped, convex thing. Don't know what the technical term is, forgive me, but I heard some splashing. And when I looked over at first, I thought it was just because it's forming these whirlpools, and I've got footage to put in the vlog. I actually filmed this happening. I thought it was just whirlpools. I kept looking and I heard the splash, 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 splash. I thought, that's really weird. And then I could see it was fish, maybe a foot and a half long, swimming to get over, as if it was like a salmon run, salmon going up a stream. And they were trying to get over like the humps. And wow, what are they doing? Is there food in there that they like? You know, they're trying to get first dibs. And maybe 7 or 8 went in. Probably the ones I heard was probably several. So they're probably about 12 or 15 in there in total. And I thought nothing of it. They stopped. I didn't see any more splashing about. I came over here and then all the gulls took off. And I was like, okay, there's definitely a seal about. And I looked to the left and there was a seal. I saw the rounded head, and I got a few seconds of it. You'll see in the footage. So that is what must have been happening, is the fish sensed or saw the seal and went in there to get away from it because they thought the seal can't get over that hump. So I think I've worked that out correctly. That's brilliant. I've never seen that kind of action before by the fish here. And also mention if I've not mentioned before, that I've got some footage I still haven't used. These carp-like looking fish, lots of scales on them. Big fish feeding on what the foam to the right, to the eastern side of the river wall by the screen. They're in there eating the foam, and I've got footage of it from last time. So I'm going to put it in the vlog, and I'm asked people, do they know what species this is exactly? Some sort of carp, I think. I'm not a fisherman by any means, right? No means at all. I don't know anything about fish. I've learned a few fish, I must admit, like the red gurnard. I'd have never known that name before I put the dot sight out to get photos of the cormorants catching them. So I've learned some fish, admittedly. But that was very exciting. So I got all that, and then grey wagtails there. I keep hearing them calling to my left. So I went and searched, and at the back of the outflow where the water's coming out, there's like a metal grill, and they're in there on this grill feeding at the water's edge. And I couldn't get high enough to stick my camera over. So this footage isn't too bad, actually. I mean, it'll get the job done. I had to lift my camera above my head, open the view screen, and I had to manually focus while looking through the view screen, holding my camera above my head. And I got it. There's nothing wrong with that bit of footage you're going to see. But there are 3, 4, maybe 5 grey wagtails in it. So all the pied wagtails are on the wall and in the sewage plant. And the grey wagtails love the outflow. Interesting, they love all their little bits, sections, areas they love to feed in. And I've occasionally got starlings coming out to these metal railings on the outside. Not much luck filming them, but we're going to go down and try and film some further down by the recycling plant. But that was amazing. I'm not going to look for this Mediterranean gull anymore. I've got plenty of Mediterranean gulls. I'll give one more scan, because it would be nice to get that after all those other bits I added. I'll try my luck and see if I get it. And that's another starling, top of the path by the sea wall. And there are a lot of reed warblers. yeah, I went back to the spot I wanted to go to earlier once the water was in. I said I was going to come back to it, and it didn't disappoint. I was working for ages on this. It looked like an adult reed warbler in a tree in front of me. So I got a lot of manual focus practice. So I've set my camera up where I can manually focus with I put this external ring on, a focusing ring, so I can just lightly press my thumb against it and turn it. And then I can deactivate focusing, autofocus with a button that I've programmed to do so on the top right. So everything's at my fingertips for what I want to do. So not too bad with that. I mean, I'm pretty happy with that footage as it was, but then a juvenile did come out and stared at me for several seconds, maybe felt like 10 or 15. Plenty of footage of it. So definitely a juvenile. It looks like a young one, and it gave me the super clear footage, and it moved around. And yeah, I mean, I think if I need to spend like hours sitting there to get all the footage, but I've got enough now for the vlog. And as I was trying to get the adult again in the bush, the sedge warbler, I assume it's the same one, popped out. Very, very friendly. I was able to zoom right in on its face, but it eventually flew off. But I'm really happy with that. I mean, I was in my 4K crop mode right into the head. I mean, I've never got footage as close as this before. I'm just looking into the reserve now because there's things popping off all over the place. I just had a linnet up there, up on a tree with some berries in its beak. And over there, a whitethroat popped out. I haven't seen one of those today. So they're still about. There's lots of little birds flitting around. But I know they're reed warblers mostly, and the whitethroat, sedge warblers, linnets. But yeah, it was just kicking off a second ago. Loads of the raspy noise that the reed warblers make. And now it's gone quiet. Okay, good. A little bit of panic there. Looking into the reeds just further up. No. Right, I think we're just going to go past this noisy works on the right. What time is it? See if there are any of the starlings. You know what? I might not even do the starlings today. The sun. Oh no, 5:30. Oh, come on, you come all this way because I want to see if the peregrine's on the other side of the recycling plant. That's where it will be if it's here. Because no other raptors today except the red kite, but then I'll take red kite as an individual bird any day of the week. That will be being made into my thumbnail. Something like, I didn't expect that, because my cross nest ones don't get many views, because not many people in the world have heard of cross nests. And it's always a struggle unless I get something big there. Like one of my most best performing ones from here was when we had randomly had 2 black-necked grebes floating by they were distant, but I was able to crop in. So it's got to be something unusual to attract viewers for cross nests. Yeah, unless I put something like one of the owls, or it's not going to get any. It'd have to be a big find. Even my Franklin's Gold, well, not mine, somebody else found it last year, which was I think only a second record for London. That only had several hundred views. So not much love for cross nests, unfortunately. But maybe this one with the red kite over will do well. Sorry, just back with you. There was a dark brown bird, small bird, and I thought, I haven't seen a dunnock in a while. It never occurred to me there would be a dunnock, and I stuck to my rules. I filmed handheld for about 8 or 9 seconds for the vlog, and so you could see. And then I tried putting the tripod up, but then it was gone. So yeah, I stuck to the rules, and we got something. I said, good, well done, Justin. Telling myself, well done. But this bit on the right here, just outside the works that are going on, is good for dunnocks. But this has been, like I said, the kestrels have been perching in there, cormorants. The peregrines have been on the 2 towers here. So it's a weird one. I did think about putting a vlog together discussing whether, urban developments hinder or help wildlife. Because, look, cross nests. We got seals, we got fish, we got waders, we got owls, raptors, every single raptor, all the usual ones, the red kite, peregrine, sparrowhawk, I've got them all here, common buzzard, all come through here. The water voles seen here, we've had reedlings. Nothing's ever dead. I mean, it's clean, it's looked after. I mean, yeah, it's a debate. It's for a debate. As long as it can be managed well, it's you know, it's a bit of a debate. It's difficult. I don't want to get into any arguments with anyone. I'm just passing the old pier. It's dismantled now, one of the piers before the recycling plant. That is a greater black-backed gull. I might just stick the tripod on that, seeing as there's no wind. Anything there's no wind, I'm enjoying this no wind. Oh, can't argue with that. Just heard all the little kind of chattering, and I thought it was swifts at first. But I thought, no, that's the starlings. Where are they coming from? I was just walking along the river's edge and looked over, and they're on the orange crane on one of the piers, the docks. Maybe a few hundred. That's great stock footage for my upcoming vlog when I do a vlog on the starlings. Wouldn't mind them a bit closer so I could record all the chattering. Oh, they've all just taken off. We've got a little murmuration. Now, can I capture that? Let's go slow-mo. Yeah, I got it. Filming it, I'm filming it. Oh, they're all splitting off into a... Oh, thank you very much. They just split off into a thinner group, so it doesn't look as impressive. How much footage did I get? I was in slow-mo. A few seconds. Yeah, if you get enough of that. Oh, hang on, just got them again. They've come back in a little cloud. Awesome. Keep filming, filming. Yeah. It's nice to see a mini murmuration on my local patch. They're filling the frame, even slow-mo. Awesome. That's very good. So I've got some good footage there. Now I just need a peregrine to come out of nowhere and grab one. I wonder what set them off. There was a plane going over. It could have been that. Yeah, they've all dispersed. Okay, let's just go and see if the peregrine is on the side of the building. What a great day. It's like one of those, there's not been much happening recently. I've been grabbing bits and pieces of footage, nothing to write home about, and then it all comes in at once. I mean, nothing unusual except that red kite. But that tops it off. All the other great bits, all the reed warbler and sedge warbler stuff has been awesome. I think a sandpiper did. I just did a raw image burst capture on a sandpiper take. I got the initial lift off. It's down there again. I'm going to try it again. No, it saw me coming a mile away. Any more? Right, peregrine. I'll just check on the top of the tower, my bins, because some... Oh no, yeah, I can see a peregrine. Okay, well, I'll get some footage here in case it flies off. Awesome, so it's not eating anything. And as I get closer, I'll get some more footage. That's good. It's got red kite and peregrine. I am going to go back into the reserve. I'm going to walk along the Thames path because could be other things in there. Right. Awesome. So just got some footage from the path to make sure I got him, and some below with my tripod fully extended to 2 meters, and him looking at me and looking very sleepy. You know what? I said a him. Do we know what? Is it a female or male? Let's have a look at the footage. Hard to tell. His chest is away from me. I'm not that skilled enough to know from the back. I mean, I don't know, is it a bigger bird? Based on that, I can't, yeah, so unless I see the markings on the chest, I'm not very good in that department. But I love, there's literally no wind, so it's my kind of time. This is brilliant. I'm going to go back onto the reserve. I'm going to go around on the, normally I'd give up by now, but I've still got to do the vlog. I've got to, as well as doing this podcast with audio, I've got to actually do it now into the camera, my iPhone, as a vlog. So that, yeah, because I'm doing, too much stuff, I'd say. But yeah, I've got to say it so that only the YouTubers only watch YouTube, don't podcast. Because amazing how many people, I remember somebody the other day said, oh, I don't have time for podcasts. I'm like, well, I don't have time for video. You surely must have more time for podcast than video. because you can listen to podcasts in your car, in the toilet, standing in a line, going for a walk. You don't need to watch it. So you must have more time to listen to audio than you do video. So I'm trying to do everything for everybody that can only do one thing or the other. I just heard some squeaking in here, chirping, and there's berry bush next to me. I'm just seeing if anything pops out, and it's not. Looking up again, right, only one peregrine, and then a sand martin just went over. A couple of, looks like lesser blackback gulls. Yeah, and what I want to do as well, I keep running out of thumbnail photos of myself. I need to do those kind of album poses of me like looking through my camera, pointing the camera that way, smiling, because it's nice to have a library to sort of use the birds that I've taken and then plonk me in there, take a picture of me. Because usually I just go through and find a still from the video, but sometimes it isn't a good, I've got to get just the right angle. I'm looking like a miserable git, or just if I've got my eyes half closed and looking a bit stoned. So I'm just going to take a range of pictures, but I'll only be able to use so many because I'll have the same t-shirt on in every one for the next few vlogs. Oh, that was awesome. I just got to the level with the recycling plant and the pier, and I stopped to get my flask of tea out to have a drink, and I took a swig and I saw something pop out of the water, and it was the seal. And I already knew I'd checked my settings before this, and I was on slow mode. So one flick to the top for my custom settings, which I just did a video about all these, got me straight onto my 4K crop so I could fill the frame with it. And 20 odd seconds, and yeah, the camera followed it perfectly. Lovely harbour common seal. Now, did I get that right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the grey seal is the massive one with the big honker. But it went down just about 60 seconds ago, maybe 2 minutes. And from previous experience, they go down for about 5 minutes. So I'll give it a couple, and if I don't see it, they usually keep moving, and it was moving east. I won't chase it. I've done well with it today. Awesome. I thought for a second it had something in its jaw. I thought it had a fish, caught one, and that would have been brilliant. Yeah, because years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I think it was a grey seal, had a big fish, and the seal had its claws out, and it was tearing this fish away, and all I could do was take photos. And I think, if only I was filming back in those days. I've just come back to the screen, and there are 5. There were 4 when I got here. 5 little egrets on the posts, and I managed to just fit them in. And the frame zoomed back to 200 millimeters, which on my lens will be equivalent of 320 millimeters, because I've got to deal with the crop factor. But they're all there now. Look, I'm not that far away from them. But it's an amazing little. It's hard to capture what I'm looking at. I mean, I've got the video, but yeah, it's almost worth. Maybe I'll take a still. The reed warblers they're flying from the left to the right. There must be a lot of food in this right-hand reed bed, because I know their nests are over on the left, I think. Now, can I fit that in a photograph? I could. Okay, let's try that. I can hear a reed warbler behind me. And can go down a bit. Yeah, the problem is the posts. I'm trying to get a picture. The posts are very dark, and the bird's highlights are still blown out. Okay, that should have done it. Let's have a zoom in. Yeah, I was not prepared for that. A common sandpiper just flew in. Some bikers, some cyclists just asked what the egrets were, and the common sandpiper flew in, but I was set for taking pictures. So stills with low ISO and low shutter speed. So this sandpiper flew in perfect for a flight shot, but it's very, very grey out there. So I'm just setting my tripod up now because it's settled. This common sandpiper is settled on the railings in front of the screen, and I'm going to go for my 4K crop through one of the gaps. And it's not walking around. It can't walk around on that thing. So I should be able to fill the frame. It's still there now, so fingers crossed. Oh, I tell you, I'm doing no birding tomorrow. I'm knackered. There's just, I can hear a song thrush over there. There are reed warblers jumping around the bushes in front of me. I think I've still got to film the vlog. Definitely. If I go to Elmley on Thursday, what's the day? Tuesday. If I go to Elmley on Thursday, I'm not doing any birding tomorrow except the editing of this vlog and this podcast. Oh my gosh, tiring. No, that's just the linnet. It's the same bit. See, it's not even any unusual birds. Hold on, can I get that linnet? It's just landed in the tree. It's got something in its beak. And I'm going to compensate for the light. Okay, it's recording. It's a little bit of added footage for the vlog if I can't think of something or if I need it. I just film loads of stuff and I think, oh, I just need something to fill that gap. So right now I'm filming a linnet, the top of a bit of a branch with some leaves on it. It looks nice. Yeah, it's an adult, full brown back. I like it to turn around so I can see his red chest. Nope. Oh, then it's gone. Good. So I got a little bit of that. So I recorded that. You might have just heard it fly over. Right, I have seriously haven't eaten anything for 6 hours. I've really got to make a move. I think once I'm away from the sort of river wall, it will quieten down a bit, he says. And this is when something like a sparrowhawk or similar will pop out. And I'll be holding my selfie stick, the camera, and trying to decide what to do. There was no way it was this busy earlier. This is really, the bird song is crazy now. So you should be able to hear all that. Lots of little songs going on, as well as the beeping from the factory here on the left. Anything? Yeah. I think I better set up now because I think I'm away from the birds, but I must still be prepared to drop everything. Okay, folks, that's a wrap. I'm back in my cab. Whew, exhausting. Wow, I think I've been out for 6 or 7 hours. There is no bird watching tomorrow at all. There's just no way. I'm going to Elmley on Thursday. Late Friends opening. That means it's going to be open till 9 o'clock. I'll probably be hanging around to see if a barn owl shows up. Anyway, so I'm Stormcab Birds podcast. I'm Stormcab Birds on YouTube. I've got 300 and how many? I don't know, 50 videos on there. Vlogs from all over the world, Hong Kong, Rhodes, all over the Europe, Malaysia. Just, yeah, go on there and see what I'm up to. Camera settings, gear techniques, reviews of equipment, loads of stuff. I'm Stormcab Birds on X. Every photo pretty much that I've taken is on there. Stormcab Photography and Video on Facebook. Yeah, I just use that as a kind of filing system for all my albums, but it's on there. Everything's Stormcab. But Stormcab is my cabbie. I'm a cab driver, as you might not be aware. Black cab driver, but everything else is based around that. Stormcab Birds for all my socials. Hope you enjoyed that. Please feedback and follow and give me some great reviews. I'm moving up the charts quite quickly. I think recent numbers put me at number 42 to 43 in the science and nature category. And that's in science and nature, but overall there were like 3.5 million podcasts. So I'm moving really quickly. I think a week ago I was at 56. So that'd be great to get into the top 10. I'll just keep the podcast coming and coming and coming. So anyway, hope you enjoyed, folks, and I'll speak to you next time.